My name's Rachel. I lost my husband back in June, and I actually found out about WPRP from a friend who does a lot of nonprofit work. She had recently connected with someone that works there. They asked her if she wanted to do some work with them, and she told me about it, and then I was actually a self-referral, and I got in contact with Kelly, who then arranged so many things for me. Oh, hello. As far as my kids, they wouldn't have the awesome beds and room that they have right now without them. My daughter, I don't know how she would be getting back and forth some days to school and some days getting home from work without all of the resources and help that I've gotten from them.
Hi, my name's Scott McGuire. My wife Christy passed away in February of 2023. We had actually moved here from California about 3 years ago, so I guess that was about almost a year and a half ago. And we have 4 kids. My oldest daughter's 20, my middle daughter's 19, and then we have a 4-year-old daughter. And then Luke was actually born here after moving to Knoxville. So pretty wide range, and obviously when she passed, it was not expected in any way. And so just kind of trying to readjust life and figure out what the next steps are. My daughter Caitlin, she signed up for the widowers group without telling me. And so I was driving home one day and this lady called and said, "Hi, I'm with WPRP." And I'm like, "Who? What?" And she said, "Well, your daughter Caitlin signed you up." And I'm like, "Well, what do you do? Is this a marketing thing?" And so she explained, and I was like, and I kind of started laughing when I understood what she did. But very much like my wife, she's kind of 2 steps ahead of me sometimes. So having 4 kids, 2 older, 2 younger, I think for the older girls, I think it's definitely been a benefit in terms of just older women investing in their lives. I work outside the home, and the girls are just starting college and working part-time, so a lot of times they're home with the kids and help with the cleaning and just having something to do. Or I know a big help has been once a week someone from the group coming over to take the kids, so that there's just not that stress on their shoulders constantly that they're the moms. That was kind of like the big thing. I didn't want them to feel like they were moms, but I kind of needed them to be that for a period of time, it seemed like. So that's been, I think, a big stress relief. And then for the little kids, adjusting to just having one parent, and I know they're very kind of, I think, clingy towards me, but having other people around that are consistently there, I think has been a benefit to kind of help them get past maybe some of the emotional hurdles that, because particularly my 4-year-old daughter, she does not like new people, and it takes her a while to warm up. So I think that's been a huge help.
My name is Katie. My husband Terry passed away a little less than a year ago. We were together about 15 years and have a 4-year-old, Harrison. He's super active, really loves to run, go to the playground. Terry was warm, funny, never met a stranger. He passed away last April, and he had some health challenges kind of over the years, but ultimately he died pretty abruptly from sepsis. I'm really lucky that I have a local network of really good family and friends, but one thing that the program has really helped with, and this is something that I actually hear from other people in my Young Widows support group that WPRP connected me with, is your family and friends kind of ask, what can we do to help? And when something like this has happened, you don't even know what to say. Is the answer like everything? And again, you're just kind of in like survival mode and don't even know what to tell them, and even if you have awesome family and friends, they don't necessarily know what to do. So WPRP kind of bridges that gap. And, my family friend came over with checklists and said, do you need help with these 50 different very specific things? And so she basically put together a list and then started contacting my family and friends and then other kind of volunteers and resources through WPRP to fill in the gaps there. To say, okay, Katie needs help with these things. Can you help? And just kind of managing all that, getting all of that done, is just incredibly helpful.
I'm Maria Barajas, and everybody calls me Zuzi. I have 4 kids. Alexa's the oldest, 16, to Lupita's 2. We gather for coffee, and then we went to see the Christmas lights a couple of months ago, and it was really nice to see everybody that's going through the same thing as we are. It's always good to, talk to somebody that understands the way you feel. It makes us feel like we're not alone, and if we need anything, they're there for us. At first, it's really hard to kind of get your feet on the ground and just kind of go for it, but I think it's a really good option because you're supported in many ways. It's emotional, and you might think you don't need it, but you do. It's hard to take that step, especially because your emotions are really difficult, but I encourage them to try it out. And it's always, if you don't feel like, like it's not for you, then it's always okay to just step back. But for me and my family, it's been a really big blessing.
My name's Hallie Marsh.
And I'm Laurie Marsh. And my husband Matthew passed away in March of 2022. We have 3 daughters. Caroline's 26, Hallie's 24, and Annie's 17.
So in November of 2021, I was still in school at UTK, and it was a Monday morning. I was in a Spanish class. I got a call from my older sister, which I thought was kind of weird, but she calls me over texting most of the time anyway. And then when I saw that my little sister was calling me, I was like, ugh, it's kind of weird. She should be in school. So from that phone call, I basically learned that something was going on. I thought it was a heart attack at the time. Turns out that it was a stroke and an aortic dissection. Thought that he was probably gonna pass away that day. So I kind of accepted that. But then, crazy enough, ended up that they were able to do some life-saving surgery on him, bring him back. It was a stroke and aortic dissection, which has a life expectancy of probably less than 1%. So kind of that's when the grieving process set in a little bit, but we were still hopeful. And then those next 4 months were just a lot of inpatient, outpatient rehabilitation centers, physical therapy, occupational therapy, everything under the sun.
Speech therapy, music therapy. We worked with him, a lot over that 4-month period.
I guess it was right around February or early March of 2022, right about 4 months after the stroke and aortic dissection, that he had to go back, get a pacemaker put in. And then before we know it, things were kind of just going downhill again. And I guess it was March 19th or 20th that I got a call that he was gonna have to go back to UT Medical Center. And within a day or so, he was put on life support. So he ended up passing away actually on March 28th of 2022.
So when Matt passed away, I really didn't have any idea where to turn or where to get support.
We talked about it a little bit, and I don't know if either of us really understood exactly what WPRP was, but we just knew that my mom did need some sort of support system here in Knoxville. And so I decided to go ahead and fill out the application for her, and I'm just so glad that I did, because it's been the biggest blessing for our family. I just had no idea at the time that I was filling it out what a huge impact it would make.
Back deck was actually in pretty bad condition as far as with water damage, and seriously needed to be restained and sealed. And that was just an undertaking that I was absolutely not qualified to do. So WPRP sent someone, actually I believe it was one of their church volunteers out, and he spent an entire Saturday just stripping and staining and resealing my deck. and that was a huge blessing. A family friend is basically just someone who comes and walks alongside you and connects you with the other resources that are available through WPRP. And we'd meet at least once a month, usually at a restaurant or a coffee shop or something like that, and they were always just making sure we were on top of anything and everything that was concerning in my life. If I had any worries, any needs, anything at all. So they were a huge blessing in every single way, truthfully, because I knew so few people in Knoxville, honestly. All of my support system was 6 hours away in Memphis, Tennessee, so I needed community and support more than anything else at that time, and that's exactly what they did for me.